Okay, we are doing much better than what the world is doing today. That's for a change, and it's quite a relief to see that the selling in mid and small cap stocks today seems to be getting slightly stemmed. There are no large nifty movers. You have a decent comeback which is there in some of the metal names. You have a very decent comeback which is again visible in some of the ferrous and both the non-ferrous side of the market. And if I look at some of the absolute gainers, well, the beaten down haloed stocks are making a comeback. That is Page, Shree, Eicher, Nestle, and Maruti Suzuki. Maruti is having a strong week. It did not fall yesterday. It bucked the market fall, and it is bucking the market trend today as well. I mean, Eicher was expensive at 33,000, but at 27,000, for a contra buyer, Eicher may just offer decent value. Maruti never corrected, only in this entire market correction, because the numbers are there. I've been told that they right now have managed to book 1 lakh units or 1 lakh cars for the new Swift launch, and that's unheard of. That is the kind of response Maruti is now getting from Indian commuters and from Indian for Indian buyers when it comes to their brand endorsement. So I think the price action in Maruti yesterday was largely supported because of the Swift success, and today also the stock seems to be riding high when it comes to the Swift success. But real estate stocks, we all know that the real estate sector per se right now is in a epic slowdown. Yet in last 1.5 years post demonetization, most of the real estate stocks are up anywhere between 100% to about 300%. There is enough and more PE activity which currently is also on in the entire real estate sector. Prestige has got funds from GIC, DLF has been bailed out by GIC. I've been told that India Bund Real Estate soon could be announcing a PE investor. It could be Blackstone or Bain in one of their investment in one of their real estate or rental arms. So what is the way forward for real estate stocks, and to understand that where value is there in real estate companies, the management of Systemic Shares and Stockbrokers, they are having a mega conference, and to understand contours of that, I am joined by Mr. Khandelwal. He represents Systemic Shares and Stock Conferences. Mr. Khandelwal, good morning and thank you for joining us. Why have you organized a real estate conference when we all know that the entire sector is in some kind of an epic glut?
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having us on the channel. This is a real estate and housing conference, and I think you're right in saying that the real estate sector, especially since demonetization, has actually course corrected and has seen visibly a slowdown in terms of the sales activity. However, we have been monitoring, we have been tracking the sector for a long time, and especially over the last 7-8 months since the implementation of Real Estate Regulation Act, which is the RERA. The shift in purchase behavior in the real estate sector has actually moved significantly towards the organized developers. At the same time, we have also seen that the government push towards affordable housing has been strengthening with every passing quarter, passing month, when every 6 months or so, government is bringing new initiatives to improve the sale of affordable housing in the country. So a combination of these factors, we have been monitoring, and if we go to see in the last 2 quarters, the organized developers, and I have to mention that fact very clearly, whether across residential, commercial, affordable, is operating across NCR, Mumbai or southern market, have seen significant traction in the sales activity, the rental activity, and a combination of these factors is what we believe investors must that factor must be highlighted to the investment community, and we believe there is significant value which sits in the whole real estate and housing as a piece. if we take any of the leading players across the real estate market, whether we take a player like Godrej Properties, which operates from Mumbai, NCR as well as Bangalore market. We take the southern market players like Prestige and Sobha. Or we
Nikhil, allow
take
me to just come back with a very quick follow-up question. Most of the real estate stocks are up more than 100 to about 300% in the last 12 to 18 months. So some would argue that bulk of the thesis which you are indicating, which is that real estate companies are a proxy to economy, and we have a still under penetrated middle class, and the demand for housing in India is going to be evergreen. Much of that thesis, I guess, already is being played out, because I remember post demonetization some of the real estate stocks had crumbled, and from there the recovery actually has been great. In fact, for 2017 the real estate index was the best performing index.
Yeah. No, you're right. Actually, the real estate sector, much like many other sectors which were seen as, significantly dependent on black money, were actually had actually seen significant course correction as far as the valuation devaluation across the stocks happening. But over the last 6 to 7 months or so, I think they have finally found a certain value benchmark where they have come to, and I think a lot of value buyers have actually invested into real estate sector over the last 6-7 months. What we are now talking about, however, is the growth in the sector. It's not just the value play. We are actually seeing significant growth potential in the sector. As I said, the selling activity, the pre-sales activity across most of the real estate developers over the last 4 to 5 months is actually seeing significant traction. Most of the leading developer sales over the last quarter, and especially over the Jan-Feb month as well, is actually a record high which they have not seen since inception of those companies. The retail leasing as well as the corporate leasing activity as well, which you can play through players like Phoenix Mills, Prestige, etc., is also at a record high. So a combination of these factors is what's pointing towards a growth in the sector, and a growth can only be played with some of these organized companies with strong balance sheets, and that's what we are trying to highlight through the conference here, by bringing most of the top-notch players operating across the country and across these asset classes.
Yeah, Nikhil, I was just coming to that. Tell me, what are the companies that you're featuring in the conference?
Well, we have on the residential side, we have companies like Suntech Realty, we have Mahindra Lifespace, we have a Kolte Patil from Pune, and from the south we have Sobha, Prestige. On the retail side, we have Phoenix Mills. On the housing construction side, we have companies like Neela Infra. We have a Capacit Infrastructures, which people who are basically helping build the buildings. So this is we also have some affordable housing companies like Aryan Superstructures, etc. So a combination of about 10 odd companies across the asset classes.
Though aside of the conference, Nikhil, what are the companies, aside of the ones that you've already talked about, that you think are still a buy, irrespective of the uptick that you've already seen in the prices within the real estate sector? Give me just about 3 names, which you think are the top buys even now.
Right. Well, we are fairly upbeat on the companies which garner a huge part of their income from rental, and who are having a strong balance sheet. And within that piece, we are very excited about Phoenix Mills, which today has close to about 6 million square feet of retail leased asset, and potentially will close this year with 1 million square feet of corporate commercial leased asset. and in next 2 to 3 years would potentially grow this business by almost 30 to 40% CAGR. There isn't any platform with close to about 800 crores of EBITDA generated from leased assets. So I think that company at the value which it trades today is definitely one of our strongest, one of our top picks. That followed by a company from down south, Prestige, which has again among the south-based developers, one of the strongest leasing assets, but is also a fast-growing residential developer in the southern part of the country. And they have also recently stepped into the affordable housing segment. So we believe that across the affordable residential as well as the leased asset segment, with the kind of balance sheet which Prestige has, that is also amongst our top picks. Thirdly, followed by a company from Bombay, I think Godrej Properties, one of the most diversified and one of the most well managed companies in the residential housing space, operating across the country through an asset light model. Given where I think we believe that they will be the fastest growing residential platform in the country, close to about 40% CAGR over the next 3 years, and they also hence would be among the top 3 picks for us.
Avan joining in. So give us a sense as to, with this realty and housing conference, what exactly is it that you're wanting to hear in terms of commentary on ground from some of these key players within the space, and what kind of commentary are you expecting?
Yeah, as I said, the activity on the ground is fairly strong. A lot of green shoots are there in the sector which we have been monitoring. If you see the cement volumes are actually on a high over the last 2 quarters. We are seeing double-digit growth, which is actually, if we speak to cement companies, one of the biggest factors for that growth is affordable housing. L&T, NCC, some of these construction companies are already seeing huge, order book driven by affordable housing as a segment. We have in our conference companies like Capacit, Neela. We also have companies like PSP Project, JMC, etc., which are seeing strong traction in their order book, driven by the real estate developments which are happening across some of the key macro markets like Mumbai, Delhi, Pune, Bangalore, Hyderabad, etc. So what we are trying to do here, and what we are trying to kind of exhibit here, and most of the managements are talking about, is this confidence of and this traction which is clearly visible in the market. New project launches are beginning to see a very different, again a very strong trajectory. We had not seen such kind of new launches from companies in the last 2 years as which we are seeing today. So a lot of those green shoots which are clearly visible, I think the companies are highlighting that to the investors, and I think we're trying to find some of the most valuable, strongest value creators which could emerge out of this event, in the real estate and the housing space.
Thanks very much, Nikhil, for joining in and sharing with us your outlook, and all the very best on that conference as well. On that note, let's slip into a quick break. Be back with lots more on the other side.